with one another stands in subjection to others. Does that make sense now? They get to decide whether I feel comfortable with the me that I am there with them. And sometimes the others will make that really clear by being cruel to me. But even when they're not being cruel to me and it's not conspicuous, it's still happening. I am in subjection to them. Here's the easiest way to prove that. If somebody were to walk in here with a gun, what would happen to all of our Dasein? Would we become instantly uncomfortable with the there that we are? Absolutely, right? Who gets to determine that? Like, where's the teenagers like, I don't care about other people in this world. You show up with a gun next to them, all of a sudden you'll see how much they actually care about other people in this world, right? It's impossible not to. If I started dancing and taking off my clothes, you'd all feel extremely uncomfortable in this here that you are. Being there would suddenly throw you for a loop. I could do that. You're in subjection to that. But you could, right? If Christopher suddenly jumped up and started telling clown jokes, we'd all be like, that's awkward, I feel bad for you. Right, I feel awkward for you, or whatever. Or like that guy who comes in and I kicked him out and I said something mean and everybody's like, oh man, that guy. Right? Conspicuousness, we do it automatically because it's all we ever do. We're comparing ourselves to others and it matters, right? That is, our average everyday being with one another is in subjection to others. That's because this is all of ours. It itself is not. Such a nice little sentence. It itself is not. What is the it that is not? Dasein. Dasein is not an itself. So then what is Dasein? It's a we. What you are is us. In your own little way. You're the us that's there. And I'm the us that's here. But I am not me independent of you. We're just us in slightly different ways because we are different heres. That's it, right? It itself is not. Its being has been taken away by the others. Dasein's everyday possibilities of being are for the others to dispose of as they please. These others, moreover, are not definite others. On the contrary, any other can represent them. What is decisive is just that inconspicuous domination by others which has already been taken over unawares from Dasein as being with. One belongs to the others oneself and enhances their power. Not only are they us, but me, I am them, right? So let's think about this in practical terms with this classroom. You are all being here in a possibility of a way for you to be, which is called being a student. And what it means to be a student and how you be a student and how it feels to be a student and your experience of being a student is not yours to decide. You pick this up through a whole system of education, right? Do you think it's any accident that classrooms are set up such that you are all facing and sitting in chairs that require you to face forward with a desk in front of you instead of couches or swivel chairs? Or how about those desks that had enclosure front, side, back? What is that communicating to you as how you're supposed to be here? Sit down, shut up, take notes. That's your role, right? And this setup, with me in front of the classroom, I'm free to walk around, I can do stuff. That's appropriate for me. Why? Because my role is teacher. Did I decide that? No. It's the world we all grew up in, right? This taking on the role of the possibility of a student that you could be, that's just you being as they have trained you to be. And all of the equipment in the world that we live in right here is pushing you to be that. And to do it in a certain way for a certain period of time. And you feel all the willing to do it that way because you don't want to stand out and be the weird kid. That one who's always, standing out, becoming conspicuous, right? Just want to fade into the furniture. Be the student that you are. Who is it that determined this is the way to do school? Certainly there are other ways to do school. All kinds of ways to learn. Why do we do it this way? Why are you doing it this way? I'll say it in a sentence. Because they say so. Right? Now think about how much of your life is dominated by just doing things the way they get done. And you just don't even think about it. You just do it these ways. Who is it that decided that this is the way you do school? Okay, so let's say this. You decide, look, I don't need to take humanities classes. I want to be a business major. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a phlebotomist. I don't need to read Heidegger to stick somebody with a needle or to sell stock online or to do whatever, right? So I don't want to take humanities. I'm going to go complain. I see. Who do I take this up with? Who decided that I have to take a humanities class? What kind of answer do you think you're going to get? Whose fault is it that we have to take humanities classes? Because I want to give that person a piece of my mind. I want to convince them otherwise. Who would you take it up with? Do you even know? And if you went to the counselor and said, why did you say I had to take this class? I hate you for that. This was a waste of my time, a waste of my money. You give me back 3 hours of my life every week for the last 10 weeks and my tuition money. And they're going to say, it's not my fault. I didn't come up with the rules. You say, okay, then who did? Because I'm going to go talk to that person. And they're going to say, well, take it up with the college. Okay, who's the college? Where in Oregon do I find the college, that guy or that girl? There isn't one, right? There's no one in particular. Who set up the roads like this? I don't like the way these roads are set up. Put a traffic light right there. I'm going to get mad at them. They don't need to put a traffic light here in my neighborhood. Who did this? So you find the worker who put it up. You're like, you take this down right now, you stupid idiot. Why are you putting up a traffic light in my neighborhood? Let's see. Don't take this up with me. Go down to City Hall, and City Hall will be like, hey, we just did the studies. And the traffic, it was required. Take it up with the government. And the government's going to say, the government's the people. It's not any one person, right? Who is it that's dominating our lives like this? Like everything we do is dominated by them, whoever that is. It's everybody and it's nobody. But when I follow the rules, what am I implicitly doing to everybody else? Dominating them too and telling them to follow the rules. And the person who doesn't follow the rules and becomes conspicuous for it, what do we do about them? The wacko, right? Like, okay, there are clothes rules. I don't know why I'm coming to clothes. I want to be a secret nudist, I guess. I don't know, right? Okay, clothes rules. We all follow the clothes rules, right? You gotta wear clothes. That's the basic rule. What if somebody says, I don't want to wear clothes? Like my daughter. She's always trying to take her clothes off and run around naked in the house. Thinks it's fun. She gets her clothes off and she's faster all of a sudden. Throws her little arms back, runs down the halls. Funnest thing to watch. It's fun. She's having a grand time. Do you think we're going to let her do that in the mall? She starts trying to take off her clothes. What do? No, you can't take your clothes off here. You got to wear them. You can't take that. That's not okay. It's inappropriate in public for you to be taking their clothes off like that. She doesn't want to be them. She just wants to do what she wants to do. She doesn't know yet the they in all this public world of ours, right? She hasn't yet been thoroughly dominated and completely controlled by it. She wants to run around naked in the mall. No, can't do it. What have I become to her? And if she says, why not, Dad? And I say, well, I don't make the rules, babe. You just got to keep them. That's what they say. Like, that's indecent exposure. right? Like, people look funny at you, right? Okay, what would you do if a student were to march down in the atrium and say, save the whales, and have a big sign and say, everybody should donate 50 cents. If everybody just donated 50 cents, we could save a whale today. And they were loud on a bullhorn and they were marching because this was their favorite cause. What would you think of them? Take that somewhere else. You're a wacko. You'd probably tell other people, it was this guy who was walking around in the atrium with a save the whale. What a freak. So what are you doing when you react that way to others who have become conspicuous? Their being there has become conspicuous. How do you enforce the domination of the they? Do you celebrate their conspicuousness? Congratulate them? Support them? Leap ahead? No. We turn away. And we show them by our actions that that is not how we are here. Right? But how do you know how you should react to all of that? Because that's how everything went for you. Inconspicuous domination of everyone and no one. It's just them. We even say it. They say. And if you ever ask somebody who says they say, who? Who is they? Because they say all kinds of stuff. I want to know who they are. Because I think they get it wrong sometimes. I want to know their evidence for why they say that. My wife used to say, they say that a child who doesn't crawl before they walk will never do math well. That's your mom. So she used to say that. And I was like, who is this they that says that? And she's like, stop. Your whole philosophy stuff. Stop with that. That's what they say. And so we got to make him crawl. Because my son, he didn't want to crawl. He started to walk. And we're like, you want me to make him crawl? Yeah, if he's going to do math, you got to make him crawl. No, that's what they say. They say all kinds of things. They say hot water freezes faster than cold water. That's the stupidest thing ever. Defies physics. No, because they say it's the molecules. Something's going on with the molecules. I've heard people say this. They say all kinds of things, right? Who is this they? Who is this they? Let's continue reading. What is decisive is just that inconspicuous domination by others which has already been taken over unawares from Dasein being with. One belongs to the others oneself and enhances their power. You do it and you pass it along. You are happy to be them to others, right? The others whom one thus designates in order to cover up the fact of one's belonging to them, essentially oneself. Oh, it's those people, right? It's not me, it's them, right? Are those, the fact of one belonging to them, essentially oneself, are those who proximally and for the most part are there in everyday being with one another. Who are we with when we're with one another? We're with them. It's just them, right? Like here, how many of you know each other? Nobody does, right? Doesn't matter. No, as long as everybody just inconspicuously does their thing and lets me inconspicuously do my thing, then we can share the world together. Right? It's okay. So who are these others that you're with right now? You're not with anybody in particular. You're not with someone, some unique individual. The only thing that matters is that the people you're with are them. And they're doing their they thing. And as long as you all do your they thing, we can all do our they thing, and everybody is inconspicuous. And therefore, you don't have to care about that guy, and that girl, and that person, because they're just them. That's all. Right? And as long as I just be a professor, like professors are supposed to be, and I don't run around taking my clothes off or doing anything conspicuous, then I can just be them too. And as long as you're just students and you don't come in and ask stupid questions the last 5 minutes of class when you don't belong here, then you can just be them too. And then I can do my job and you can do your job and everybody's happy. Nobody stands out. Nobody's conspicuous, right? The who is not this one, not that one, not oneself, not some people, and it's not the sum of them all. The who is the neuter, the they. It's just them. It's not anyone, right? We have shown earlier how in the environment which lies closest to us, the public environment already is ready to hand and is also a matter of concern. We're in the world that we share with others. It's a public world, right? And utilizing, but here, how do you know whether you're the they? What's the proof of it? Here's Heidegger's answer. In utilizing public means of transport and in making use of information services such as the newspaper or your Apple News or whatever else, right? Every other is like the next. Do they make a bus route just for you? So if you want to take the bus, what do you have to do? You have to conform to it. It's not going to meet you, right? When you buy a car, are you buying a custom car for you? No, Toyota's making 10,000 of these babies, 50,000, a million of these babies. And the color? Yeah, we know people have different opinions about color, so we'll make 10 different shades. You got to pick one of those, right? And they're just hoping that they get. Are they even hoping they get you? Oh, I don't care if they get you, as long as they get 10,000 people like you to buy this color, and 10,000 others will buy that color. Nobody wants to get stuck with the one color that nobody likes. So what if some dude in Toyota is like, I just love fuchsia. And they do a market study and they're like, we would sell 5 fuchsia cars. So what, man? I just love fuchsia. We're going to make fuchsia. We're going to make 10,000 of these. They'll sell eventually, and then they have to get rid of them, and the guy loses his job. Because, why? Because they do not make cars for you. Who do they make cars for? Them. For them, and they hope they will buy them. And in order to buy them, in order to make sure they're going to buy them, they have to make the most average, generic cars possible. Because otherwise they won't sell to them. Because who is this day that's going to buy them? The most average and generic person possible. Who is that average and generic person? You are. You are. So am I. Look, when they make that phone and it appeals to you, that new iPhone 25X with the hologram and whatever else, they're not making it for you. And the fact that you want it, what does that prove? You're them. The 6 billion other people who want one of those. Yeah, you're really unique, authentic.